Live from the Akrs Broadcast Center inside East Stadium, this is the Husker Athletic Director Show with Troy Dannon.
The 3-2 offering. Bouncer up the middle, into center field for a base hit. Caught and scores. Here comes Frost to score. And Devin Nunez, the biggest hit of the Husker 2025 season, gives Nebraska a 6-5 lead in the ninth.
DiNardo swings and lifts this one to left field, Indy. Run is all the way back, and it's gone! A grand slam for DiNardo, and a 4-0 lead for the Huskers.
Roderick holds at the bell. The 0-1. Slider popped up on the infield. Infield fly rule should be in effect, and it is. Two gone as Carey drops it. The runner's going to try and take third. It's a line ball. Overbeek picks it and tags the runner. The game is over.
Now, here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome in, everybody. It is time for our monthly sit-down with the athletic director, Troy Dannon. And as he always does, he's got a special guest that's going to be joining us here off the top. Kristin Coggin, the assistant AD for Performance Nutrition. Thank you both for being here with us. We're mixing it up on people, starting off with the special guest tonight, Troy.
Well, we have... believe it or not, there's a Christmas party tonight.
It's the first time.
If you've been associated with football, this is really the first time to celebrate Christmas. And Kristin being in the middle of that, I want to get her out of here and get her to the Christmas party. So we're going to have her go first tonight.
Well, just such a busy time that it has been for really since last summer, moving into the new training table that I know some folks got a chance to check out over the weekend with the stadium tours that happened on the Husker games. But how has it gone? How is the new training table? How has everything, I guess, adjusted over the last year?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for us is just being able to take what our vision is and seeing it come to light, and how much we throw at them all the time to just see, like, what can we handle. But I think just from our student athletes, the service we're able to provide, you can see it in our body compositions and how much that's changed. Also in our recruiting, like every recruit that comes through says the best place they can get a meal is at Nebraska. So it's one of the things people look forward to, but also the way that we're able to do events within the athletic department. That's been super fun. So, we're continuing to always elevate what we're doing, but it's been fun to really dive in there and give our student athletes a great space.
I was going to say, has the space been everything you hoped for and more?
Oh, definitely more. But it's been great. We've been doing cooking demos with teams. I know swimming and diving has one on Friday. Football's done some. We've had men's basketball in there. Just all our student athletes being able to also work on their life skills at the same time, as long as working on their body comps for performing and all that. So it's been great.
Well, and you think about, like, you go to the grocery store and it's not just frozen pizzas and bags of chips. The cooking demos and learning what to do and how to cook. And some of our athletes, this is their first time of doing any of that other than maybe a box of mac and cheese or some ramen, right? So there's more to it than just the nutritional value. It's learning about why there is value and about what to do. And we talk about everything we do here is about preparing them to lead a successful next 40 years of their life. This is probably one of those keys that they're going to walk out of here with, let alone what it's going to do for them physically and in preparation to compete.
Absolutely. We've heard quite a bit about, Flick and their involvement with the training table. Can you give listeners just, I guess, a synopsis of that, what they do and how good the relationship has been working with them in that training table?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think with them, we're the first college that they've worked with, so them being able to, one of the big things with them is they were able to cook for student athletes. They had like a background in that, with them being involved in the NFL, the NBA, the MLS, all that stuff. So we've had chefs come from different locations and also help, but we have a GM that's from the Titans, so that's been nice that he can run the whole operation. I get to tell people what I want and what I want it to look like, or working with chef on, like, how do we tweak this menu or that menu, or how do we do something fun. Some of our teams have won the ability to pick the menu for the night based on different things, or we also celebrate different holidays. They also have that opportunity, and so it's fun for them to also get engaged in those ways. But just from them running the operation day to day, but then also we're doing catering for our teams for pregame and postgame meals, or if we have donor events, we've been able to run that. Or, I think that's really a big part, is also this summer getting to do a lot more with recruiting on our official visits, in addition to the cooking demos. With our student athletes, doing them with recruits. And we've had some chopped competitions. I think baseball had who won their spring or their fall ball. They had to cook for the other team, so that was fun too. So I think, just really seeing the student athletes get in there and be engaged, and we've had some guest chefs come in. So it's really, we like to have a fun time. So yes, the music is sometimes a little loud and a lot of fun. We love it. But, I think it's just a great space to even bring the staff together and people getting to enjoy a meal together.
The quality of food, so good too. I mean, there's so many different options too. So as we've heard, people have different allergies or different, maybe some people are picky. There's a pizza station, there's a salad station every day, and then it rotates. I mean, it is the choices every day, just really impressive.
It is, and a big thing with that, we do have a dietitian on our Flick staff, which is really nice to be able to make sure that the allergens are labeled correctly. If we have, food allergies are becoming more common than they used to be, so also being able to accommodate those needs within, and that's one of the big things. I have a kid who has celiac disease, and his mom texts me all the time about how thankful she is that she has us, that we're able to give him better than a home-cooked meal. So that's big when the parents can say that. Yeah. So,
and this serves a 325-pound offensive lineman, and the person behind him is an 85-pound cross-country runner, and so to serve all of the different necessary interests of the different athletes is it's a great challenge. It's not just let's go through a buffet and you only can pick this and you can only pick that. So the wide range, and it's pricey, right? It's one of the things that I think Nebraska's always led in, though, is its student services areas. If you look at historically, right, it was the Boyd Epley thing and strength conditioning before anybody else knew it, and the life skills program before anybody else valued it. This, there is nothing like this in the country. You hear it from recruits, and it's just now starting to have an impact in recruiting. That whole building is, but it's only been up for a year. We're not even one full year into it, and Coach Rule and I have talked about if you look at the recruiting uptick maybe we've seen in football, a lot of it can be pointed to that building, and a lot of it can be pointed to the fact that on the recruiting visits, everybody's in there. The families see how we're taking care of their sons and their daughters.
Yeah, what has the impact been on that?
Huge. I mean, it's something where we get to tell recruits, like, we're not doing this because you're here. This is what it looks like all the time. So I think that is the fun part of, even when we have a men's basketball recruit that comes in and he's able to come to a football Saturday lunch and be able to see, this is what it really looks like. And I do think it's with recruiting, it's so nice to be able to be like, hey, we're showing you firsthand how you can, our student athletes use the app to order on or for the grill or the deli, or how to make a custom smoothie. So we're just able to experience the student athlete experience right there firsthand, I think is huge, and for them to see all the things that are going on. And the moms love to know that their sons are getting taken care of, along with the dads, but definitely with moms, you hit it out the park when you show them that all student athletes are getting the same resources, from a bowler and a rifle student athlete to cross country to football. I mean, everyone's getting the same resources, and I think that's huge, but it also builds those relationships within our student athletes also.
And then also providing it to staff. I mean, everybody can come in there, and you've talked about with Coach Rule just the breaking bread part of it. I mean, you talk about the music, there's somebody different on the aux. I mean, it's a fun atmosphere, and you're coming in and you see the people interacting. It's just, it's important, right, to this overall athletic department, just the camaraderie that you're able to build there in the training table.
I think it's fun, especially as you have new staff come in and you're getting to meet the other coaches, you're getting to meet other staff members, you're talking to someone from the business office, or you have someone in compliance that's sitting down with a student athlete, or just the different interactions that are able to happen. I know that's one thing I really enjoy with it, is I do get to see everyone, even though sometimes people's offices are all over campus. Yeah. It's a central location for everyone.
Yeah, it is a big deal from just a sense of community, because it's easy with the sports that are in the Dannen or baseball and softball just to get locked into their facilities, and you never get to know those athletes, those coaches. But part of this is a culture play, right? And to have a sense of community in the department, that we all interact with one another. Previously, there was a nice training table, and it was down below on the west side, but there wasn't much space, and a lot of staff would go down, collect a meal, and take it up to their office, and that defeats the purpose. We're not, the staff gets a finite number of swipes in there, to encourage that interaction. We're not doing it because we want to feed the staff. We're doing it because I want the staff to get to know the athletes, and the athletes to get to know the staff, and so that camaraderie, that collegiality, that family type relationship that you hope to have culturally has really been enhanced by the setup we have now.
Absolutely. So I can't tell you how many times I've interviewed some of the football players over the last couple of months, and your name came up. I mean, Ty Robinson just got drafted, and he mentioned that the importance of the nutrition program and just the job that you and your staff did in that. The training table part of it, how important is that to be able to help these guys achieve what they're wanting to do? I mean, it's just, I know it's all encompassing what you do with Coach Campbell and his staff, but how important does the training table become in that process?
It gives you, it's like your playbook, right? Like we had the tools right there to teach them, so they know what a great plate needs to look like. They get the affirmation from the dietitians that are around making sure they're making the right plates, but they know what quality food tastes like, how it's supposed to be seasoned, but also with the life skills kitchen. Like we're teaching you those life skills, so when you don't have us, you are able to, but it's also, some of our guys have gone to teams, like Ty's gonna go somewhere that also is fueled by Flick. So I think that's a huge part of like, hey, you're not losing what you've gotten at Nebraska. You're now getting that also in the NFL. And it's even those chefs we can contact and say, hey, our guys are coming. So I think, just able for them to really take care of their bodies. I think that's one of the biggest things, especially going through that process that Ty and all them went through, is you are kind of like still having to fuel your body correctly. And not everywhere's got the same resources that we have here, but just really how much that impacted you and knowing what you need to do.
I think one thing that gets lost too, what Kristin and her crew do isn't just here. It's on the road. It's traveling with the teams. It's making sure that they get the right thing post game. And to me, and I've never seen it before in my 18 years, but to go on the road and her staff are preparing omelets for the players game day mornings. So they're getting a quality food. They're getting drinks, certain protein drinks, and everything else that's tailored. But that goes on the road with our teams as well. So it's a much bigger operation than just, hey, here's a cafeteria, let's go. It's carrying it on wherever we're at.
So, okay, what's next for you and your staff? Do you get a little breathing time now? How does the role change now that you have made it through spring football before you move into the summer workouts part of it?
So the big thing for us right now is, I have 3 new football dietitians, and one of the big things we've really been working on is making sure the guys have what they need when they leave. In the month of May, it can be really great for you, or it can be really damaging for you, depending on how you handle it. So big things we're working on right now is just making sure everyone leaves with a meal plan. We've kind of built out a nutrition website where there's all these resources that what kind of meals they need for breakfast, lunch, dinner, what is that like, what are the ingredients, what can you buy at the store, how do you still accommodate those things, but making sure we have those touch points with the guys before they leave, like, hey, this is where we left, this is where we want to come back, like, you have a little free time, but let's make sure. But it's also fun, like today I worked on the June and July schedule of like, what do we want to do based around our lifting and our OTAs and things like that. Or it's a fun time too for us to do some cooking demos, to do the meals, but also I enjoy having them position groups to my house for dinner, like teaching them how to cook a meal together and building that like strong bond. So I think that's a big part too of just like, it's fun to plan the summer. Camp gets here sooner than you think, but it's such a time we want to really make sure we've dialed it all the way in. So a lot of planning goes into now, a lot of individual one-on-ones, just making sure the guys know like, hey, you're leaving us, but this is what we need you to do and make sure you come back. So just trying to make sure we're getting everything ready for finishing out the season and then going into the summer.
Seems like the more that it works, right? The more that the results are there and the guys can tell the results, the more buy-in they have, probably the less kind of prodding you have to do with these guys.
Well, it's fun. It's, we got to see, this is our first from January to March, being able to look at how much the training table has really impacted our body compositions. I mean, we had receivers that had put on 13 pounds of muscle in 8 weeks. That's huge, right? Or we had a defensive lineman who put on 17 pounds of muscle in 2 months. Like, that all is kudos to, like, we're eating the right things, and you see those changes, and we're able to show you. And then you get kind of addicted to that, right? Like, okay, like, it's really paying off. I'm eating the right things. I don't want to lose this. So it's really showing guys like, hey, what you did worked. Let's stick to it. We have another level we want to go up in the summer. So I think that's the fun part for them.
But this is, and it was mentioned earlier, it's nutrition where and intersecting with the strength and conditioning program, intersecting with sports medicine, intersecting with behavioral health. And, all those performance units that Kristin Brown, has reporting to her, each one, if the weakest link in the chain, right, and everything breaks, we have really solid links in the chain in all those performance areas, and so we all kind of maybe the sum of the parts is even greater in that respect.
And a lot of it too, that it is an amazing building, but it's people behind it, right? I mean, she's the best of the best.
Yep. It's in everything you do, it's about relationships and it's about people. And you can put the wrong people into that facility and it'll just exacerbate bad things. But you put the right people and give them the right resources and the infrastructure, it's amazing what can happen.
Well, it's also fun for us, like with our performance teams. Like, I learn a lot from Mitch, I learn a lot from Corey, I learn a lot from Drew, even with Dr. Stout, like just being able to like collaborate together on the players, and maybe someone sees something that another one of us doesn't, or what do we want to do together to get our athletes where we need to be. It's really a lot of fun. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. We'll let you get to your Christmas party, but appreciate you spending some time. Just a fascinating conversation. I know you're not new to the studio, so it was great chatting with you again.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Again, Kristin Coggin, the Assistant AD for Performance Nutrition here with Nebraska Athletics. We've got more with Troy Dannon coming up on the other side of this. Keep it here on our monthly AD show. And Dorothy Lynch, Homestyle and Light and Lean Dressing, Endless Flavor Abilities. Dorothy Lynch also a part of the training table, right?
Nebraska.
Awesome. Keep it here on Sports Daily. We've got more coming up on the other side of this.
Hey Husker fans, get game ready at Alumni Hall, your ultimate Nebraska Cornhusker shopping experience. Upgrade your tailgate gear, shop officially licensed Nebraska clothing for the family, or load up on hats, gifts, and accessories. Spend $150 and you'll receive a $10 reward on your next purchase with Alumni Hall's Hall Pass rewards. Nebraska students, faculty, and military receive 10% off when shopping in store. Come shop at Alumni Hall, located in downtown and in the South Point Pavilion in Lincoln, or shop alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Husker fans shop.
Hi, I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and co-founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program.
And I'm Des Moines Adams, Husker Black Shirt and CEO of Teammates Mentoring.
We're recruiting Teammates mentors and need caring adults to be in the lives of our students.
Meeting with a student once a week at the school can make a positive impact in their life and have a ripple effect in our communities.
Please join our team.
Go to teammates.org today.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Sophistication meets performance in your new vehicle from Woodhouse Cadillac. Explore special financing and exclusive offers happening now. Receive $7,500 in savings plus 3.9% APR for 36 months on the 2024 Cadillac XT5 Premium Luxury. Visit us in store or online at woodhousecadillac.com. With approved credit, stock number KK240330. Must finance with GM Financial. Courtesy transportation vehicle of 2,098 miles. $299 doc UPS assignment. Offer expires 4/30/2025. See dealer for details.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles, or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Akrs also providing the tractors for the tractor pull of the Husker games over the weekend, too. Welcome back to our monthly chat with our athletic director, Troy Dannon. The Husker games, man, what a weekend. There was a lot going on. It was a fun weekend.
Luckily, the weather was good. But yeah, it was a busy weekend, and it was a new weekend. Almost everything had been started from scratch, and then even 2 weeks out, Matt decided he wanted to scrimmage some of the guys, which was a new wrinkle for everybody. So I was really proud of all the staff and the crew. There were 75 volunteers helped set up the garage sale for the equipment surplus, and we had over 3,000 people went through that. We had 1,000 people walk through the Osborne Legacy Complex, and we'll never open that building fully up to the public. There are a lot of private areas and offices, sports medicine areas, locker rooms. But this was a chance, maybe the one chance for people to get in and see everything, not just the public areas. I think we sold 9,500 tickets for the football game and the events that went along with it. And that you get both sides. Or there's people that wanted a game. There's people that really enjoyed what happened. So but it's new. On Friday night, and a lot of people know this. On Friday night, we had called the Champions Benefit, but we had about 250 Husker Athletic Fund members and their guests, and some people saw the silent auction. There was a live auction that went along with it, and first time auctions are something that everybody likes to do. And we auctioned experiential things. Joking, there was a roping lesson with John Cook and dinner with John Cook, and it went for $15,000.
Wow!
And so just things like that it's not a tangible thing you take home and put on your shelf, but it was things that are maybe once in a lifetime opportunities with some of the people around Husker Athletics. So it was a neat weekend, capped off obviously by a whale of a volleyball debut for Danny. And then Sunday night was Night at the Lead, which is the annual awards banquet and celebration of our student athletes. So yeah, a big weekend around here.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you about the equipment sale, because a lot of people had the line was crazy. People were lining up early in the morning, and I've been asked a lot, is that going to continue to happen? Is that something that maybe we could look to do again in the future?
Yeah, we will. It's not, you don't build up that much stuff every year, but we would like to do something every other year. I don't know, that was 15 years worth of stuff that had accumulated, so I don't know how much is going to be there. But obviously, as you cycle through helmets every so often, some year you're going to have a lot of helmets that are out of circulation, and we only had a few. I think they were gone in 7 minutes this time. So, it's something that we need to do on a fairly regular basis. It's been a long time since we've done that, though.
Okay, so and then the tours you also mentioned, and despite it maybe not being completely open, but people also ask the question there too that the regular hours are open, right, for people to come check out the lobby of the new building?
Yeah, you know, there was a time when really a lot of the trophies were displayed, and maybe the public access piece was in the northwest side of the stadium entrance. And now with the Legacy Complex being done, you know, the Heisman trophies, some of the busts that we have, other recognition is all in that lobby on the east side, right out front of the Legacy Complex. So that's always going to be open, so people can come in and kind of see the memorabilia, and that's where our tours will start for kids. You know, I think that's a rite of passage for every fourth grader in the state of Nebraska to get to come in and tour everything. So that's kind of our new base of operations, if you will, for the public.
Okay, so how about the Husker games? Were you surprised by the fastest man? Why couldn't we get you in on the wing eating contest, you know?
My son, when it was all said and done, he says, "I'm so hungry, I would die for some of those wings." So we got him a wing, and he said, "Boy, those are a little spicy." So no, it was a fun day. I think, you know, the lasting memory will be Dylan throwing a football into a basketball hoop from 40 yards.
Yeah.
Of which, you know, we sat with Dylan and his family at the volleyball game, and my son's question of him was, "Well, why didn't you make the other three?" You know, as if it's an easy thing to do. So there was some neat stuff, and you know, I think for me the most important thing, you know, whether anybody loved it or whether anybody hated it or anything in between on how different it was, the guys had a blast, and they rallied around one another. We're healthy. You know, last year in the spring game, we lost a starting cornerback and a starting wide receiver to ACLs. And so, you know, coming out of it healthy, the guys had fun. You can see, I think we have a great locker room, and you could see that how they celebrated and rallied around one another, whether they were playing or not.
All right, and how about that volleyball match debut for Danny Bussum, Kelly Cricht, the reception from the crowd, and obviously a great crowd, not surprising, I think, of Husker Nation, but how great was that? And she seemed right at home over there on that sideline.
One, how loud it was, especially at the beginning when she was introduced and some of the players were introduced. You know, it's first time since that Final Four loss, so it was awesome. I texted her afterwards. I said, you know, John didn't really set you up, did he? He said, you're going to have all sorts of hard decisions because, you know, you watched a lot of the newcomers play and realize, and there's 3 more coming in the fall, how much talent there is on that roster. And there's only so many swings, right, and only so many sets. So there's a lot of talent for her to build on. And I joked with her a little bit, you know, about how hard John made it for her. But, you know, John really has this program in a great place. And so for her to walk in and have that talent and walk in and have that atmosphere. And you know, we talked about that building and how we're finding ways where we're going to capture some more seats and get rid of the bleachers and put some chair backs in and, you know, make it maybe after this upcoming season, make it an even better venue for what lies ahead for Husker volleyball.
I just think it's so special how the transition has gone between Coach Cook and Danny, and you just don't always find that when you make a coaching transition, and the way that Danny is really embracing Coach Cook still being involved, and Coach Cook seems like a proud dad, you know, just bragging on Danny. It just is, you just don't always get that.
Well, you almost never get it because most coaches who are in John's position, their egos overtake them maybe, and they don't allow this transition to happen the way it has. And you know, a lot of people have said, "Oh, congratulations on how smoothly that went." That's a credit to John. John, you know, really allowed it to happen this way. And you know, the last act, you know, when you build a program, and he inherited a good program and made it great, right? But the last act, if you do things right, to be able to hand it off to somebody and watch it even take off from there, and to your point, be proud of it like a father would be proud. That's the truest demonstration of leadership that you're ever going to find, and John's the sterling example of that.
So you capped off the weekend. You mentioned the night at the lead, and you know, I was on the committee to vote for some of those award winners, and the debates have gotten more heated as we've gone along. I mean, it just is a great way to step back and realize how lucky we are here to have so many talented athletes and programs that you can really celebrate. And when those debates get tough between who's going to win some of these awards, that's a good problem to have.
You know, it's interesting. I've used this line a lot over the last week or so, that the one thing now that I've been here a year that this place does is it likes to remind you a lot of what you haven't done or what you didn't do, instead of celebrating what you have done or what's already in place. And to your point, you know, we had a record-setting 3.43 grade point average with our athletes in the fall. They're on track to do it again in the spring. You know, that's a school record that is hard to break when you look at the history here. And then, you know, we had the National Bowler of the Year. We had National Gymnast of the Year. You know, Lexi was the National Amateur Athlete of the Year. So the quality of talent. And then a couple of the events over the weekend, and we had a staff meeting on Monday. We took all the trophies, all the postseason trophies and they're not all gold, so right, there's still work to do, but so many postseason recognitions and accomplishments. We're 8th in the Directors' Cup, which is a measurement of all sports standings. And you know, I focus a lot on the competitive piece and probably don't talk enough about the holistic piece. But, you know, men's outdoor track and field is ranked 5th in the country. You know, softball, you know, not out of the question to think they may get a shot to host, but at the very least, going to be a 2 seed in somebody's regional.
They're not going to want.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They're not going to want when maybe your number one pitcher can throw 3 days in a row. You know, men's tennis in the NCAA tournament for the 3rd time in school history. You know, there's just so many programs that are pointed in the right direction that it was fun to celebrate, and we have really good kids. Mm-hmm. It's not like this every place, and maybe if you've only seen this place, you don't have an appreciation for how good it really is.
Absolutely. All right, let's work at another break here. Plenty more to get to with the AD here on our Athletic Director Hour with Troy Dannon. Hey, Husker, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Find the perfect blend of elegance and innovation at Infinity of Omaha. Right now, receive 1.9% APR for 72 months on the full lineup of 2025 Infinity QX60s, plus $1,000 spring bonus. Enjoy sophisticated design, groundbreaking technology, and a luxurious ride that redefines what's possible. Explore online at infinityofomaha.com or visit our showroom today with approved credit, tax, title, license extra when financed through Infinity Financial Services. $299 doc fee to signing. VIN number SC353909. Offer expires April 30, 2025. See dealer for details.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the 9th inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Got a couple segments left here on our athletic director show here on Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, joined by Troy Dannon, and have some text rolling in for you on the text line. Want to know about stadium renovations, all that. You posted a photo on your social media. The turf is, process is ongoing right now.
Yeah, the turf's out of the stadium. A few more pieces to take out, and then we'll have new turf. You know, I don't know, I've said this 100 times, but I don't think anybody's listened. We will have grass when the stadium's done, but because a lot of the stadium work will have to be done from the inside, the idea of putting grass in there and tearing it up just isn't too appetizing. So putting a good turf surface in, turf that can be rolled up to bring equipment in and then rolled back in that transitional phase. Yes, we're doing a little bit of different things with the lines. You know, everybody's so concerned about the red line and the out of bounds line. You know, the turf manufacturers know what that's supposed to look like and what it's going to look like. So there'll be a nice wide 12 to 14 inch white line in the out of bounds in the end zone, so people don't have to worry about that. But we're in a good place. We're for the first time in really 30 years dug up the grass practice fields all the way down to its base and rebuilt the base, putting new irrigation in, and those grass fields still had a crown in them. So, and the rocks and things that accumulated over 30 years. So that, I posted a picture of that as well. That should be done by June 1st. And so when we come into camp, we'll have a perfect grass surface for the guys to practice on. We'll have a new turf, the same type of turf. It's Hellas that is in the indoor. If people saw it when they went in for the garage sale this weekend, that's what will be inside the stadium. The stadium project itself is still, you know, we're spending a lot of time on design. You know, one of the things that's been revealed along the way is there's close to $200 million worth of deferred maintenance, you know, underneath. You know, we built on top, but underneath, like particularly on the west side, that's still a 1923 structure. And so figuring out how do we make sure that this is a multi-generational 50-year project, that we don't have to go back in and make $200 million worth of repairs 5 years after we complete the stadium. So we're in a pretty good place with that. I'm not sure at what point in time, we're the timeline that I'd been working off of, which was post 26 and post 27. We're still in that timeline. So the urgency of making anything public just isn't there for us to keep that timeline right now. We just got to get the design right.
And Nick in Omaha wanted to know about the video board and speakers. The video board is being installed, right?
Yeah, the video board, they're in process. I think they were going to start taking it out on Monday, and it was a little bit windy. So we're putting new board in on the north side, same size, just replacing the panels. If you saw last year, sometimes it was a little bit suspect. Sound system needs work, but that's going to come with the stadium project. There'll be a massive scoreboard on the south side in the stadium project, and the sound will all come from that end when this is all said and done. So rather than invest millions in sound now, we're going to do as best we can. We got some amps that are, and some speakers that are blown, some amps that need replaced. We'll do that along the way. But then really when the stadium's done, we'll have a sound system that is warranted for a stadium like ours.
So one of the big topics throughout the spring has been the roster size to college football teams and the House settlement, and came out last week some news. Claudia Wilken, the judge that's ruling on this, wants to grandfather in those roster limits, all that. Where are we, first of all, I guess, on that settlement, and how do we feel about the progress of that?
Well, I mean, the settlement seems like it's close with this exception, and we can talk about that in a minute, but, the settlement, her signing off the settlement is the first domino. There are a lot of rules to operationalize that settlement. You can say there's a 105 person limit in the football roster. What does that mean? When is it 105? What if somebody gets hurt? Do you get a replay? And all these questions that go along with it. And now apply that times, for us, 24 sports. So they're operationalizing whatever happens is going to be a massive challenge. It's not just revenue sharing. It's a lot of rules and regulations going along with it, how do we enforce this? How do we make sure that the third party piece that's carved out and is supposed to be a fair market value, how do we ensure that is indeed what's happening? So I would say about 50% of my day right now is trying to anticipate and get set up for what lies ahead. The roster limits, there's going to be some change. I think that was very clear. It needs to get settled. I've been advocating since her decision to not have roster limits. Historically, with the exception of baseball and football, there have not been roster limits in the sports that we offer, at least. And I'd like to get back to that. I'm in the minority there, and I understand that. Nebraska is unique in what it's done with its football limit. We'll be over 105, I think. In any way, if you grandfather this or phase it in, it's going to allow more players to be on the roster next year than maybe we were anticipating a few weeks ago. So I just hope within the next week, by the end of next week, I really hope we have an answer as to what that number is going to be, because we have a lot of guys. We saw some guys go in the portal right just at the end that I don't think necessarily wanted to go in the portal, but need to find a place where they're going to be guaranteed roster spots, and it will be nice to give some certainty to our athletes. Here it's particularly impactful of football, but give some certainty as to what things are going to look like next year. Give some certainty to high school athletes who want to come in here, but the coaches maybe can't guarantee them a spot on the roster. And if we knew the roster was going to be a little larger, maybe the coaches could guarantee them spots.
So for the record, you're not for the 105, the roster limit, the hard roster limit?
I'm a local control guy. I would like to have as much authority and autonomy on campus to make the decision. Because this campus has a history of the walk-on culture. Some campuses use this as a recruitment and an enrollment management tool, roster limits. And so, and some people want to, I think as we move forward into this new world of revenue sharing, people will decide where they want to be excellent and invest more. Maybe that's bigger rosters, maybe that's more scholarship in areas in which they feel at their institution they can be particularly excellent if they can't maybe do it across the board. So I just think as much control as we have, rather than it being regulated, the better. Now, I also realize I'm at an institution that can be at the top of we can carry more players. We can fund the nutrition. We can fund the equipment. We can have that, and not everybody can.
Mm-hmm.
But we got into this trouble in college athletics by trying to overregulate ourselves and create a level playing field when the playing field's not level. Facilities, weather, finances, the loyalty and support of your fan bases, they're not equal. And so, by trying to regulate yourself into equality, we ran afoul of antitrust law. And I'd like to avoid that if possible.
Fascinating. All right, let's get to another break. We got more to get to here with Troy Dannon, our final segment coming up on the other side of this. And hey, Husker, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, save on select Steel battery tools. Right now, save $50 on the FSA 57 battery trimmer set. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. With AK-10 battery and AL101 charger. Offer valid for a limited time only while supplies last. See participating dealer for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the Game Day Special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Final segment here of our Athletics Director Show here with Troy Dannon. Just a few minutes left, and I have a couple more things definitely want to get to with you. But the flag football game was a huge hit. It was so much fun to watch, and they've got some talent out there.
Yeah, and I feel bad because one of our top players injured her ACL in the pregame warm-ups and wasn't able to play. So I think we saw a little bit of that with maybe not not being able to throw the ball the way we wanted to throw the ball. But flag football really being pushed by the NFL, and a lot of states have sanctioned it at the high school level. Eventually we're going to have another women's sport here at Nebraska from a Title IX standpoint, And I think women's flag football is one of those sports that I wanted to see it live myself. And we had a lot of fans come in and watch it. You know, that Midland team was pretty good.
Yeah.
They had kids from all over the country. They're on scholarship.
The quarterback could throw it.
Yeah, I heard she could throw it 60 yards. But you know, I think it's something we should all keep a close eye on with women's flag football here.
Oh, that's awesome. That'd be fun. One other thing I wanted to make sure that we got to, you had mentioned men's tennis earlier, but Peter Cobaldon in his second season, he is the real deal. And boy, this men's tennis team going to the postseason. They'll begin their quest this weekend, but huge news for the men's tennis program to be in the postseason. Yeah,
really happy for him. He is a go-getter and aggressive. And I think first time since 2011 that we've even been in the tournament. Like I said, third time in school history. And, you know, it just goes to show you that there's, you know, we're in the midst of hiring a women's golf coach right now, and I've talked to a couple of candidates, and I use men's tennis. We should win at everything here, and I mean national championship, but we should have the ability to do exactly what Peter did in every sport. Come in, and if you have the passion, the drive, the determination, and you can coach, lead these teams into the postseason that maybe haven't seen postseason play very regularly.
The last thing I want to make sure and be able to ask you for an update on, we're getting tons of questions about, is the next voice of the Huskers. Do you have an update on that process?
Yeah, so the process has really been centered with Playfly. You know, the radio talent, including yourself, employees of Playfly. And so you work for the Huskers, but Playfly writes the check. And so the search has really been led by Playfly. I know they had hundreds. I heard north of 300 applicants. I believe the last I knew it had been narrowed down and interviews were underway. I've asked for me personally, when it got down to a couple, that's where I wanted to get involved and have the chance to listen to tapes and have sit-down in-person interviews with them myself. But I think we're coming to a close in that search. Like I said, I know they're underway with the interviews, and I know everybody's really, really anxious to come in. And you know, it's you know, during the football game there was a in memoriam, right, of players we've lost over the last year, and the last two was Jack and Greg. And you know, it's you know, it's going to be a big loss as a person for us, let alone his talent. But you know, the next person coming in, you know, is going to be the next Greg. You know, he's going to build relationships. He's going to be that voice that a lot of us are going to remember great moments by that person's call. So I'm looking forward to getting somebody in here, and I want somebody that is going to be the host of things and is going to interact in the community and be present and know our athletes and have those relationships, people and relationships, going back to what we talked about with nutrition. So I'm excited to see who Playfly comes up with in their final couple of candidates.
It's a big hire, but we're excited about it. Okay, guys, Scott, less than a minute left. You got a busy. It's not like you can breathe yet. You still got some busy things ahead.
Yeah, you know, graduation. It's May, right? Graduation's coming up, and you know, May's a little bit of a break. A lot of the athletes are going to go home, and then turn right around in June. It's camp season. The athletes come back and start getting ready for what lies ahead in the fall. You know, we're in a really good place with our staff. It's a lot more stable than it was last year. You know, as I was kind of 3 or 4 months in, but I think we've all got our feet underneath of us. We know what our strengths are with liabilities. Getting this antitrust settlement implemented and making sure that we lead the way. You know, we talk about setting the standard that everyone else should aspire to achieve, nutrition, we talked about that tonight, but how we come out of this settlement and how we operationalize this.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Elevate your drive in your new vehicle from Woodhouse Lincoln. Explore our current offers going on now. Lease the 2025 Lincoln Aviator for $999 a month for 36 months and 10,500 miles per year. Shop in store at 144th and Giles Road or online at woodhouselincoln.com. With approved credit, security deposit waived. First payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Exchange by Lincoln vehicle. VIN number 5LM5J7XCA-SGL05101. Offer expires April 30th, 2025. See dealer for details.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
No need to hunt around for friendly service, low prices, quality products, and great experiences. You'll find it all with the local experts, Sapp Brothers Petroleum. If you're tired of tracking down another late delivery, it's time to consider Sapp Brothers, where we pride ourselves on delivering products on time or even ahead of schedule, with your safety our top priority. Switching is easy. Just shoot us an email or give us a call. And right now, when you contact Sapp Brothers for any of your fuel, propane, or lubricant needs, you'll be entered to win a guided pheasant hunt next fall. Visit sappbros.net/Huskers.
Good evening, I'm Russ Brown, and tonight's ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Jordy Ball has been named a top 25 finalist for Player of the Year. Ball was a top 10 finalist in 2022 and 23 while at Oklahoma. Ball was also named the nation's #1 two-way player by Softball America in D1 softball for this week. Till Steinforth has been named the Big Ten Men's Field Athlete of the Week. The senior from Germany scored the top world decathlon mark last week in Iowa, setting a Drake Relays record of 8,265 points. Looking at scores in the NBA, the Rockets lead the Warriors 40-24. That one is late in the first quarter. Golden State leads that series 3-1. And then later tonight, the Timberwolves look to finish off the Lakers in their series as they lead that one 3-1 as well. Tip-off is at 9 o'clock. In the National Hockey League, the Capitals lead the Canadiens 2-0 in the first period. Washington leads that series 3-1. The Panthers currently leading the Lightning about halfway through the first period in that one 2-1. As Florida leads that series 3-1. And then later tonight, Game 5 between the Blues and the Jets. That series is tied at 2 games apiece. Call a timeout if you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Up next, hour number 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Husker Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Swanson, the pitch on the way. Gabe swings, and it's a high drive to deep right center field. The right fielder to the track, he's to the wall, and it's gone! Gabe Swanson has his second grand slam in as many weeks. And Nebraska busts the board here in the first. It's 4-0.
Bacon still at second. Lauren Cammon's in at first. First pitch to ball. She hits this wall in the deep left center field. And it is out of here. A 3-run home run from Jordy Ball. And Nebraska, a 5 spot here in the top of the 4th.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. Jessica Coody joined with Nick Hanley. What a great first hour there with Troy Dannon. I could ask him a million more questions. I always appreciate his willing to be candid and open and transparent with whatever questions you throw at him. But a lot of good nuggets in that last hour.
We were talking about this off the air too. It's always nice and refreshing when you don't. I don't want to say have to come in with the script when it comes to talking to the leader of the athletic department, but I know in other schools that's how it goes. And when you have a guy that's you mentioned transparent, but also just feeling that connection with the fan base that always wants to know what's going on, even if it's during the quote unquote slow time of the year. Not saying that that's the case right now, but even when we get into July, always willing to ask, answer the questions, but also give information too. And I was really fascinated to hear what he had to say about just how Saturday overall went and how they're going to evaluate everything and moving that forward, because I think that's a big question that a lot of us have.
The flag football little nugget at the end about potentially maybe looking at adding a women's sport, that was fascinating too. But no, I just you talk to him and you can just feel, we've talked so much here over the last few weeks just about the competitiveness of this football team, and we talked a lot about it on Saturday, how much they want to compete. But in a day and age where I think maybe a lot of athletic departments might be starting to put eggs in one basket, or lightening those baskets and not trying to focus on so many, you just get a sense that he really cares about wanting to succeed still at all the sports, not just picking out a few here or there, which is not going to be the case everywhere in college athletics.
Yeah, and I think everybody who has followed this program, Jessica, you've experienced this now too, being here as long as you have, where not all athletic directors are, I think actions speak louder than words on where their full concentration, support, and everything that they're trying to get accomplished, what essentially takes up their day-to-day. And I think you did have some athletic directors in the last decade that have prioritized certain sports. And look, I understand it. I mean, you and I both know the the revenue builder and the revenue monster that is football. But I think you can get someone in front of a microphone and they're going to tell you how they care equally about every sport and every athletic event that there is. But again, actions speak louder than words. How often are you attending some of these events compared to the big ones in football compared to some of the other events? And that's the thing. I mean, Troy Dannon, in the short time that he's been here, I think you've seen him in just about every event. And so I think that also says a lot of, yes, we want to see these, but because you're also, you're evaluating your coaches day in and day out, and not necessarily for their job status, but you, as an athletic director and a good athletic director that I think Troy Dannon is, and I think we've had some good ones in the past here, they want to always make sure that they are that resource that every coach has, whether it's Matt Rule or it's a coach on the golf team or it's a coach on the tennis team or any of that. I mean, you want to always make sure that you're being able to evaluate that. So when you do sit down with those coaches, you can be that resource and you can say, well, yeah, I saw this. I really like that. Is there anything more that you need from me? And I think Troy Dannon has always sent that message, and I feel that there's a lot of follow-up on that.
Okay, well, I wanted to make sure and dive into baseball. What a special night out at Haymarket last night. Man, could you even sleep last night when you got home?
No, I couldn't. I got home about 10:30. I think I got into Bennington right around then. And, yeah, it took me probably a good hour just to unwind a little bit and going through social media, seeing the reaction from everybody that was taking that in, whether you were hopefully listening to us, but also since the game was on Big Ten Network, I understand that was also an option. But I just thought that it'll be tomorrow, the exact year anniversary when Nebraska played Kansas State at home. And that was when the baseball team rolled out the sharp, strong patches. And we know what happened that night, a no-hitter from Jackson Brockett. And so it was essentially the year anniversary. And you just got the feeling that there was something that was going to happen. That game was kind of bizarre leading into the ninth inning. It was just kind of a weird game at times. And as soon as Nebraska is able to get the lead man aboard and Dylan Carey, you're thinking, okay, all of a sudden now you got the tying run coming to plate. And it just, having the girls out there throwing the first pitch, we had a chance to see Amy and the girls and the family in the booth for a little bit as well. Just kind of felt that presence of Greg. And I've told the story enough about what we experienced, really that first full day after we knew that Greg had passed away. That moment after Nebraska had beat Vanderbilt where we could feel his presence, undoubtedly feel his presence. And I think there was a little bit of that last night too, knowing Greg's passion for Nebraska, but also K-State. And K-State got the first two from Nebraska, so it's almost like Greg's like, all right, I got to help out my boys here as well. It was such a cool thing. And Gabe Swanson, my goodness, Ben nailed it, that stat, 5 for 6 with bases loaded. And now you can make that a 6 for 7 with bases loaded. That is... that's unbelievable. And, right on cue, he delivers. And I want to give a special shout-out also to Mike Sirianni, third base coach, assistant coach for Nebraska, because what he did was an aggressive send, but it was the right move. Obviously, it paid off. But even if you get Brumball nailed at home plate, you've already grabbed the momentum and sucked the life out of Kansas State by, at the very least, tying that game. So what you're doing by sending Caden Brumball is you're forcing a absolute perfect relay. And I think there was an element of surprise, too, when they cut that ball off and they're trying to make that play to home and you're throwing it. You see that thing sail, and you're like, oh, my gosh, they're setting them. You panic. And so you put the pressure squarely on them to make the perfect executed relay, and they didn't. And Nebraska was able to benefit from that. But what a exciting way to end that game. And really, up until the 8th inning was a fun back-and-forth game. There was that one sloppy inning that Nebraska had in the top of the 9th. But everything else, it was a really good baseball game.
It seemed like it was deafening when that happened. And Coach Bolt even said that because he wasn't out there. He said he heard the crowd react. But it sounded like there was a pretty nice crowd out there to witness that walk-off win.
Yeah, and it was. The weather was gorgeous. And I got to also make sure I mention Tucker Timmerman, who was fantastic in his start. It looks like he's coming back to stride. And this is a good Kansas State offense, and he did a very nice job. And really, I thought for the most part, a lot of the pitchers that came in last night, Gavin Blackowitz continues to really impress me as a freshman. His stock is really going up. He looked good in his appearance as well. So, again, for Nebraska to be able to put themselves in that position, having the lead but then giving the lead back up, but still keeping their wits about them as well, it continues to show some really good resiliency. And all of a sudden, Jessica, this is the crazy thing. Friday is a big game for a lot of different reasons. I mean, it's a Big Ten series, obviously, but you got to go all the way back to that Friday game in Lafayette, Louisiana. I know you remember. That was a long time ago. That's the last time Nebraska was 500. And so now they have a chance on Friday to draw to 500. And why is that important? Well, again, if you are able to handle the RPI opportunities and you put yourself in a position where you can get an at-large, you got to be an above 500 team. So that is also very important. Yeah, you want to win the series, let the other stuff work itself out. But also, to see this team get back to 500, I think would also be a big shot in the arm for them.
So, again, you look at some of the high moments of this group and some of the wins that they do have, and I just feel like they continue to show that, and Coach Bold has said this, that when they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they can compete with anybody in the country. And they can win games like that, where they have to come from behind and win it with a clutch hit in the ninth inning.
Well, and that's the beauty of this team is what you're seeing. What Gabe Swanson did, I think, is a microcosm of the upperclassmen right now. And that is you're seeing Dylan Carey had a solid game. Dylan Carey had also a multi-hit game on Friday against Maryland, even though that was a loss. But he's a bat that you got to see continue to get hot because that guy's got a lot of college baseball experience under his belt. Joshua Overbeek is absolutely tearing the cover off the baseball right now. That was a guy that was hitting under 200 when we got back from L.A., and that wasn't that long ago, so he's already up at 300. Caden Brumbaugh has been as steady as she comes. I mean, he is just amazing with providing not only the ability to run the bases, but also the ability to drive the baseball. He's playing a really good second base. And then what Gabe Swanson, not only what he did last night, which was fantastic, but also when we saw his performance on Sunday and having that grand slam, second grand slam in as many weeks as well, having that bat getting hot, there's a lot of experience. There's a lot of guys in that lineup that have been there, done that have played in that championship level baseball like they did a year ago. And for whatever reason, it took some guys a little bit longer than others to get going, but you're seeing some of those veterans now play to form. And I think that is very encouraging for what is a crucial 3 weeks for this baseball program. And I think it's a good sign. And I think when you're up against that adversity like they were yesterday, they've shown it more times than not that they are more than capable of handling that situation all the way down to the last out if that's what it takes.
All right, we have got to get to a break here because John Baylor is going to check in. We got to talk some Husker volleyball. Haven't had a chance to really dive into that. We talked with Troy about it earlier, but going to get JB's perspective on Danny Busboom Kelly's debut inside the Devaney Center, and also preview the spring match in Ord coming up this weekend. So I want to give plenty of time to JB there. So keep it here on Sports Nightly. And hey, Husker, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles. Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Propane is clean, reliable energy for your home, farm, or business, inside and out. With low carbon footprint and ability to keep you powered even when the grid is down, propane delivers when you need it most. Lock in your propane for the 2025-26 season by May 18th and register to win 2 tickets to the College World Series. Visit cvacoop.com or contact your CVA Energy Lead. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Your next vehicle is waiting for you at Woodhouse. With over 20 locations and a variety of brands, Woodhouse offers everything from reliable trucks to family-friendly SUVs. Whether you're looking for a Nissan, Mazda, or Infiniti, our team is here to help you find the perfect fit. Enjoy a seamless car buying experience with our expert staff and exceptional service. Visit Woodhouse today, where quality, selection, and customer satisfaction come first. Or get started online at woodhouse.com.
Hey Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly on this rainy Wednesday evening. Jessica Coody here, and joined on the phone by none other than the voice of Husker Volleyball, John Baylor, JB. Hey, thanks for being with us tonight. It was great to hear you and Lauren back on the air on Saturday.
Jessica, wasn't that fun? That was a good time. And the place was packed. And there were 2 deep up in standing room only. Like a week before the match, a doggone exhibition against Kansas, you couldn't even get a seat. All that was available was standing room only. It was a mixer. If you showed up single, probably not for long.
I'm assuming we're not surprised at this point, though, right? The debut of Danny Busboom Kelly, the Husker games, all the good stuff. Not really surprising to see that kind of turnout, right?
Sure. It's Nebraska volleyball, and the honeymoon is on. I mean, Coach Busboom walked out, and everyone was applauding. Everyone's all fired up, and you know, it's everyone is real happy in the spring. And but what really struck me is that when she was introduced formally to the crowd, her own players applauded. And I thought that's an indicator that things are off to a very good start.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did it feel, JB? I mean, first time without John Cook, he was broadcasting. You know, Danny makes her debut. Did it feel different? Did it feel like a normal Husker volleyball match?
Felt like a normal Husker volleyball match, except there wasn't this 6'4", lanky guy wearing kind of like Western shirts down there in front of next to the bench and occasionally searching for a green card. So that was a little bit of a change after a quarter century. But, boy, Coach Busboom looked awfully comfortable. I think she had a few butterflies, but, boy, you know, when she looked down the bench and saw the talent she has to work with, I think that made her even more comfortable. But it was just a great start, and the fan base seems to have really embraced her.
Well, in terms of just the volleyball play, was there any big differences you immediately took away, or is it still kind of too early to tell?
I think they're faster. I think the offense is faster. And we used to say, set the middle, set the middle. We're trying to get the fans to start chanting STM, STM, because it can be like a slight reminder to Bergen, but also it can be intimidating to the opponent. But forget that. I'm thinking FTM, force the middle, because that's what they're doing. I mean, Bergen is set in the middle no matter where the pass is, where the dig takes her, and wild geometric angles. And I mean, there was a point there where Rebecca, who's suddenly featured offensively, you got to love that, in the middle, and Andy Jackson, who, you know, set her in the concourse, she'll put it away. And then also you got Ryan Hunter on the right side. What a debut the North Carolinian freshman had on the right. The three of them basically had 30 kills and 1 error between them.
Wow.
You know, midway through the fourth set. They're just stunning start. That means a lot of good passing, but also a lot of pinpoint accurate setting.
Well, so you had mentioned the big applause for Danny. How about in the introductions for Lainey Choboy taking over in that libero spot? She got quite the reception from Husker Nation there inside Devaney.
They love her. I mean, Lainey's always putting out TikTok stuff or Snip Snap stuff. I'm not sure all the platform things they're all into these days, but she's super popular. I mean, if she's at the grocery store and she's like, hey, turnips or carrots, she's going to get 985 likes, you know, 72 responses. And so when she was introduced, you know, they love her because, you know what, she made a big sacrifice to come here. I mean, she would be a 4-year starting libero almost anywhere. And here we are, year 3, and it's still an open question. And she had to watch the best in the business for the first 2. So Husker fans respect sacrifice. They respect hard work. They respect talent. And she personifies all of that. And I hope I don't get a finger on the scales to decide, but I hope she gets a real shot to claim that libero position. But let me tell you, it's really a close call. It's a happy challenge to have because Olivia Malk is probably the better, more reliable passer, and then Lainey might be one of the best diggers in the country. And so you're thinking, well, you can play 2 liberos. Why don't you just put Lainey out there when you're serving, because the opponent's going to come back at you with a big kill attempt. And why don't you put Olivia out there when the opponent's serving because you need a good pass? Well, then the other one is unavailable to become a DS, a defensive specialist, for 3 rotations. So it's going to be one or the other. It's going to be a tough call for the head coach.
You mentioned Ryan Hunter. I mean, what is it about her that, I mean, is this something you feel like is going to carry over? Is she going to be someone that they're going to rely on heavily in this rotation?
Unclear, but let me say this. After her performance, 11 kills, 1 error against Kansas, and the 1 error was like 2/3 of the way through set 4 when they'd already won the match 3-love. But any discussion about Ryan Hunter redshirting this year, probably premature after that debut. But it's unknown. I mean, what makes her special is she's left-handed. So she made a great choice when she decided to be left-handed. Because on the right side, if you're a lefty, you have a big advantage. And she's just got great springs, and she's got a trampoline over there. And also, she's like so many of these players, they've played so much more volleyball than their predecessors a decade or so ago. They're just more experienced. And she had a triple block attempt in front of her and an out-of-system set from fellow freshman T. Sigler. And she delivered between 6 hands, and that just doesn't happen when you're a typical, high school senior in your spring of seniors. I mean, she should be going to prom right now. Here she is just firing lasers against the Jayhawks. She was impressive.
Any of the other newcomers or freshmen really stand out to you, impress you, or any takeaways there with some of those new faces?
All of them. Now, hold on, Jessica. You know my role is to manage expectations.
Yes.
I've done a very poor job of that in recent years. And again, I continue to be horrific at that task. But I think Terea Sigler, T. Sigler, made a huge argument to take over that second outside position. There's a lot of competition out there, and I'm loving Skylar Pierce, and so many of us are rooting for her. And Taylor Landfair had a big role last year, but T. Sigler does the little things really well. I mean, we know she had a monster arm. She's the #1 recruit in the country. But that bump set over to Ryan Hunter out of system, I mean, across the court, I mean, that thing traveled a solid 35 feet right on the money. Passing was solid. Digging looked good. She was picking up tips. I mean, it's a small subset. Let's not go crazy here. The sample size is limited, and we got South Dakota State on Saturday, which probably is going to be a smaller team than a Power 4 conference Kansas team. But she made a strong argument that she's ready for prime time. And then Carrie Leimbach, coming out of Lincoln Lutheran, gets a service ace in her debut. But also, Campbell Flynn. I mean, this freshman, #1 setting recruit in the country, #4 recruit overall in the country. She's 6'3". Jessica, she's a setter, and she's got to be careful going through doorways. I mean, that's a pretty unusual stature for an 18-year-old setter, and she's a lefty. I can't recall a lefty as setter, which means she's not just tipping. When she wants to attack as a front row player, she can wind up, and that's a new weapon. So a lot of happy choices for the head coach.
I was about to say, safe to say that competitive nature that we've heard so much about, it's going to continue. That's not going anywhere. In fact, it might be amping up.
Nothing is guaranteed, although I have to suggest that Harper Murray is going to be a 6th rotation player. It's kind of her team at this point, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's a captain. Bergen is going to return as starter, as great as Campbell Flynn was. I mean, it's Bergen's the heir apparent. I mean, 2-time first-team all-conference, first time ever a freshman and sophomore has been back-to-back first-team all-Big Ten as setter of the year. And if there's a third captain, and some years Nebraska does have 3 captains, who knows? But, Rebecca's going to be a big senior contributor out there, and she's featured more and more offensively with this new fast, force the middle, force the right side offense. So nothing is guaranteed. I mean, you got the former Big Ten Conference Player of the Year 3 seasons ago, and Taylor Landfair, the transfer from Minnesota, now her 2nd year with Nebraska. So, yeah, you got to bring it every day. But I think we learned in December last year, this is kind of Harper's team. And you've got 3 returning All-Americans. We're the only team with 3 returning All-Americans with Bergen and Andy and Harper. So, again, horribly executing my job as the manager of Husker expectations.
I'm okay with that. You can manage those expectations when we get closer to the fall, but in the spring, I think it's okay that they're through the roof, right?
It's spring. It's spring. I mean, everything's good. There's so many Red Sox fans thought in March this was the year. Spring is everybody's undefeated. It's like the beginning of the school year. Everyone's got a 4.0. No one's missed a class. No one's used ChatGPT. I mean, at the beginning of the year, everyone looks great.
Hey, we got a chance to chat with Coach Cook on the sideline after his roping competition with the football team.
Oh, boy.
And he was just
Did he have a fleet of Clydesdales with him? I mean, how many horses were with him?
It was a robo-pony. And he said...
So he's good on live horses and robotic horses. The guy can do almost anything.
He said he'd rather ride a real horse than a robo-pony.
Really? I just thought he'd be out there on the open range on a bunch of robotic horses, just out there in Greeley or out there in Cherry. Anyway, go ahead. So he did look good on the Robo Horse. All right.
Yeah. So, but when we chatted with him and asked him about DBK, he just was almost like a proud dad. And I think he even said that. I'm like a proud father, just the way that she's handled everything. And, we'll see. It's still early, obviously, but I just feel like, in terms of following somebody like Coach Cook, could you have asked for anybody better than Danny Busboom Kelly and just being okay with Coach Cook still being as much involved as he is in a program like this?
Well, that's an interesting question about his involvement, and I'll be interested to watch him just to what extent he will be around in the fall. But right now, he's going to practice occasionally, and I think talking to Coach Busboom Kelly, with some regularity. But yeah, Terry Pettit's perhaps greatest contribution, and this is saying a lot, to Nebraska volleyball was figuring out who his successor should be, and I think John Cook has done it as well. It's early, but I mean, Danny Busboom, 8 years at Louisville, when she arrived there, they flirted with top 25, and once every 3 years would make the NCAA tournament approximately. In those 8 years, 4 ACC championships, 3 Final Fours, 2 championship matches, and a perennial top 5 program. Just stunning what she did. So here you have these 2 coaching legends, Coach Pettit and Coach Cook, and they've done something that doesn't happen. Just talk to Alabama football fans about what happened after Bear Bryant, and talk to UCLA basketball fans what happened after John Wooden. So let us hope that what we're seeing here early is what we're going to see for many years to come. A lot of success and a lot of signs that the continuity and the excellence is just is in the what I call the golden age of Nebraska volleyball since 2015 until today. Got 7 Final Fours in 10 years. We'll just continue indefinitely.
Well, you ready to head to Ord, Nebraska on Saturday?
I love it. Ord, Nebraska, home of the Fighting Chanticleers. The place is on fire. I mean, everyone wants to be a part of this, and when the Huskers go into these small towns, it's just awesome. And anyway, I'll be getting there Saturday morning, and it's going to be tough, though. I mean, we've been to Ogallala and Kearney. Last year we got this police escort from the hotel to the UNK gym, and the town is lined up on the sides of the street waving to the buses and the police escort. So these towns just open their arms. They're such fabulous hosts, and I love it. You go to these small towns, the whole community comes together, and they couldn't be more gracious and they couldn't be more grateful. And it's just it's a picture of the love affair between this program and the entire state.
It's one of those traditions. It's awesome that it continues. And it seems like the players really enjoy it too, going to these smaller towns and getting to see some folks maybe they don't always get a chance to interact with.
They love it. They get to mix with the masses, and the doggone autograph, snakes around the entire building, and their wrists are all tired after the match. You got to do the autograph session after the match. You can barely play during the match. Your wrists would be all sore from all the autographs and all the kids go photos and selfies, the whole deal. It truly is a special deal. I remember when I got to Central City, what was that, 2 years ago? Their beautiful new gym. Boy, there are a lot of Division I college programs which should trade for that Central City High School volleyball gym. I can tell you that much. It's a great place to go if there's a tornado watch. I mean, you just go in there to shoot hoops and play ball. Anyway, I got there like 2.5, 3 hours before game time. The line was like at least a quarter mile long. It was like it was like 2 deep left to right and a quarter mile long. And the match started 3 hours after that point. And then when the Husker bus pulled up, and all the fans were going wild, and they started chanting. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. You know what? Never take it for granted, because this relationship between fans and a team, pretty unusual. You don't see it many places.
I kind of forgot, how do they go about picking the teams each year, or the places that they're going each year?
Well, I think Coach Cook's into this whole, he's really into being the cowboy and riding horses. And he has some friends up there who've really been a part of that journey for him in the Ord area. And then he was up in Burwell at the fair last year. He was the parade director. He led the whole doggone Burwell parade, I think, last year. And so he loves the whole area. It's horse country. So I think that's how that all happened. Then he went to that elderly folks home, and he met that guy who basically told him, okay, it's time to hire Danny Busboom Kelly. I mean, there's a lot going on up there in Ord that's affecting Nebraska volleyball. Then, Kearney's got the beautiful arena. Grand Island has a beautiful arena. North Platte years ago was christening a new high school. We went to Kearney High School one year when they were fairly brand new, and the Kearney High gym is gorgeous, man. If I played hoops at Kearney High and never missed a shot, I'd feel like it's blasphemy. That place is sweet. And then we went to Ogallala years ago. I think that was largely because the history. I mean, Ogallala High School in the 70s had a big following and was on the radio. The Indians, girls volleyball, was on the radio in the late 70s, and that kind of gave Coach Pettit an idea, like, I want to go recruit radio, I want to go to recruit statewide television, like this thing can really grow through the media. So we went to Norfolk one year, they've got a really nice gym up there. So it's kind of case by case, but you got to have a nice gym. You got to have a connection potentially with one of the leaders of the program. Maybe it's a new building you want to show off, but there's a lot of competition. I hear from Lindsay a lot. Towns are constantly asking if the volleyball team would come, and maybe Coach Busboom in the future will not just visit one town, but maybe a second. It can be a little complicated. There are a lot of logistics, but she's certainly open to playing more matches. I mean, this is going to be the 6th match of the preseason here in the spring for South Dakota State and just the 2nd for Nebraska. I think at Louisville she played more, and she's open to playing more, maybe in places in more than one small town in future years.
All right, so you and Lauren are back on the air for us starting at 1:30, right? 1:30?
Yeah. Oh, the pre-games at 1:30, first serve at 2 o'clock. Bring on the Jackrabbits of South Dakota State from the Summit Conference. Last year, 27-3. They made the NCAA tournament. They lost to Miami in round 1 in Lincoln, and they got 4 seniors back, 4 juniors back. They got a transfer from Boise State, who's a 6'2" outside. I think they're going to give us some competition. I think they're going to give Omaha some serious competition in the conference seasons. This is a nice challenge for Nebraska in their 2nd and final spring match.
Awesome. Can't wait to hear you and Lauren on the call again. Thanks for being here with us, JB.
Anytime, Jessica.
Good job, Baylor. He and Lauren Cook West will be on the call starting at 1:30 right here on the Huskers Radio Network. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Back with more of the show after this.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the 9th inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, save on select Steel battery tools. Right now, save $50 on the FSA 57 battery trimmer set. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. With AK-10 battery and AL101 charger. Offer valid for a limited time only while supplies last. See participating dealer for details.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Not All Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Not All Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Not All Services. These are the Not All Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new great trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Falls City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Nick Hanley back with me here on Sports Nightly. Just got a couple segments left, a couple short segments. Nick, we're seeing some Huskers that have entered the portal since the conclusion of spring football. I think maybe a lot of that is moving forward with that roster limit. We're still awaiting the ruling on that and how that looks moving forward. But even though the transfer portal is closed, that if the players are due to maybe the roster downsizing, but then they're in the portal so they can look, but then if that changes, they can come back, I guess. It's still, again, a lot to figure out there. But the other kind of transfer portal news of the day is Chamar Brown, the North Dakota State running back out of Creighton Prep, went to North Dakota State, but went to high school at Creighton Prep. He's committed to Miami. He was a guy that took a visit here, but I just get the sense that, this is a staff that they're pretty... They like the running back room, and you never know what someone was looking for, but I guess maybe I'm not as surprised that Nebraska was not the choice.
I think everything that we were hearing, too, was saying that it was really going to come down to I thought I was hearing Cal was in more of the running at one point. I think over the weekend there was even some recruiting sites that had Cal that was as the clubhouse leader to get Chamar Brown. And Look, we talked about a position that you wouldn't mind seeing Nebraska continue to go after in the transfer portal, and I think there was a reason Nebraska was after Brown, and I think they would love to just continue to build depth in that room and some proven bodies, and again, another local guy that was outstanding in North Dakota State. But Miami, again, you asked the question of who knows what the athlete himself wanted to see from an NIL standpoint and potential rev share numbers.
And playing time even, which is they're not going to guarantee what we've seen from this staff. They're not going to guarantee anything, I don't think, to anybody until you come in and earn it. And it's a competitive room. Right. And that's, and I think that's where a lot of people think that, okay, is the want from the student athlete when it comes down to the visits, is it all about what they can get from a financial standpoint, what they can actually get from the NIL part of it? But you're right. I mean, there is the playing time part of it, is when you are highly sought after or you feel like you're getting a lot of attention and you're getting the heavy recruiting pitch, then you think that you are going to factor in as one of the key cogs in whatever that position group is. And you're right. I think for Nebraska, as much as they would love to bolster that room, I think they do know they've put the time and commitment and investment into guys like, well, not only Emmett Johnson, I think that's a no-brainer, but also what we continue to hear about Quentin Ives. And so I think that there is that part of the equation where it's going to be really tough. And this is what I like about this coaching staff, starting with Matt Rhule. I think they have these honest conversations with these transfer portals players that might, be a good fit, but they want to make sure that they understand what they are coming into. And I appreciate the honesty. Sometimes it might work against you. Sometimes you're not going to get that guy out of the transfer portal because you're being honest and you want maybe an easier path to starting on Saturdays. And I'm pretty confident that was not a conversation that was had with this coaching staff with anybody, let alone Brown, as far as, you're going to come right in and start, because I don't think Nebraska's in that situation anywhere on the field right now. Well, one thing they've made clear is that Emmett Johnson has emerged as the guy, and they believe in him as the guy. And so if someone comes in and wants to be the guy, well, I mean, Emmett's kind of earned that title at this point throughout spring football. So, all right, let's get to another break. We got one more on the other side of this. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Propane is clean, reliable energy for your home, farm, or business, inside and out. With low carbon footprint and ability to keep you powered even when the grid is down, Propane delivers when you need it most. Lock in your propane for the 2025-26 season by May 18th and register to win 2 tickets to the College World Series. Visit cvacoop.com or contact your CVA Energy Lead. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Hey Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Final segment left here of Sports Nightly on this Wednesday evening, and here is What's on Tap, brought to you by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Got an opportunity to see both baseball and softball at home here in Lincoln this weekend. Baseball with the 3-game series against Maryland, which Nick talked about earlier, the importance of that. 5 o'clock on Friday, 1 o'clock Saturday, 12 o'clock on Sunday. Softball with a 3-game series against Maryland. First game on Friday, 4 o'clock, 1 o'clock on Saturday, and 11 a.m. on Sunday. And we'll have the call for you right here on the Huskers Radio Network for all of that action with Nate Rohr with softball. And Nick and Ben, are you back with Ben this weekend, right?
It is. It's Ben and I again for the trio of the Golden Gophers. So, yes, looking forward to it.
Okay, so then also on Saturday from 11 to 2, they're having a fan appreciation event all day. There's going to be so many fun things going on out there. They've got lots of activities for the kids. So get on out there, support both the programs. And listen to this. So the Bowlin Stadium for softball, they've never had a sellout. And so you're talking about maybe being part of history on Saturday, and there are very, very few tickets left. So if you want to be part of a history-making day, which I believe is going to happen, there are a limited number of tickets, huskers.com/tickets. That's for that game against Maryland on Saturday. So how about that? I'm kind of surprised, but, and also, too, they've even expanded the attendance this year. But this is a good softball team, and your last opportunity probably to get to see them here in Lincoln.
Yeah, and I thought, didn't they try to have a push last year? And they came very close as well, if I remember correctly, but they weren't quite able. That might have been 2 years ago. It was either last year or 2 years ago where they had a pretty solid push and just didn't quite get to the finish line on the sellout. But this is a fun team, and you and I have talked a lot about this team on what they could potentially accomplish in the postseason. Could be big things. So, yeah, if you haven't had a chance to see them, and I like the way that they're starting these games with that ballpark bash. You got the 1 o'clock game with Maryland at Bowlin Stadium. Then at 2 o'clock, you can do both. You can watch softball. Then when that's over, come on over and root the Huskers on against the Gophers on Saturday as well, because it's a huge weekend for both teams, both baseball and softball.
Final minute left, and Jordy Ball, we've had this discussion a lot. People have asked a lot, and she's in that finalist list to be the player of the year, and very deserving. So that came out, today, right, that she's in that list. And if this team keeps winning, she will absolutely continue to be in that conversation.
Well, the numbers are there. They're justified for her to be in that conversation. You're absolutely right, though, Jessica. If this team continues to have a push, especially in the postseason, those numbers, even if they continue to get inflated, they will look that much larger when you have a potentially deep postseason run. So that is also going to be huge, but very well-deserved on the type of season she is having.
All right, so that's going to do it for us. Again, appreciate Troy Dannon and Kristin Coggin being with us in hour number 1. John Baylor, make sure you tune into him. That's also what's on tap, by the way, the spring match, 2 o'clock on Saturday. So it's going to be another busy weekend here on the Huskers Radio Network here for our guys. But coming up tomorrow, we will going to hear from Peter Cobelt as Nebraska men's tennis is back in the NCAA tournament. What a great feat for them. So we're going to hear for all about that and preview the matchup with Baylor coming up this weekend. So full 2 hours coming your way tomorrow. Thanks for listening tonight, and thanks to Russ for helping us get the show on the air.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraska soybeans power everyday products, from Goodyear tires and Skechers shoes to soy-based turf and fire suppressants. These innovations replace petroleum and utilize other components of the soybean, leading to more sustainable products worldwide.
I'm Doug Sadoff, a farmer near Trumbull, Nebraska. Thanks to cutting-edge research, soybeans are now in everything from tires to turf. It's amazing to see how these advancements are unlocking new potential for our crops.
Soybeans are a win for every product and everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Propane is clean, reliable energy for your home, farm, or business, inside and out. With low carbon footprint and ability to keep you powered even when the grid is down, Propane delivers when you need it most. Lock in your propane for the 2025-26 season by May 18th and register to win 2 tickets to the College World Series. Visit cvacoop.com or contact your CVA Energy Lead.